All right. Welcome to Brain Training. My name is Stephanie. Today we're going to be working a little bit more on peripheral vision. So how can we sense and understand our environment that's around us without looking directly at it? So what's coming in through your visual system without being in our center of focus? And it's important for anyone who's interested in being a steadier thinker, being more aware of their surroundings, more reactive to their surroundings. Because if we're not seeing what's going on in our environment, we're not going to be able to react to it or feel that okay, my mic's a little bit in and out. We're not going to be able to react to it or have a steady relationship with our environment. Let me just turn it. Okay, let me know if that's any better, Adam. All right, so with that being said, in its direct application to gait and walking, if we're walking forward in life and you're always looking down at your feet because you're not sure about what that path looks like or your feet are doing, then we're missing everything in front of us. We're missing that person that's going to come forward and they're also looking at the ground, so we hit them, or we're missing, the beautiful dog across the street. We're missing the life that's happening in front of us. So peripheral vision is important so that we can take in our environment and still be able to see what's going on immediately down at our feet when we're walking. Does that sound like a good idea? Something worthwhile in exploration? Yes, good. All right. So before we get started with any of the brain drills and the brain training drills, I would like everyone to stand up if you can and take a lap around the room or walking around some sort of area that you have, and just notice how your walking is at this point in time. And I kind of gave away a little bit of the punchline with my intro, but where do your eyes look when you walk around the room? How does your feet articulate with the ground? Is it sort of a flat-footed, or do you roll the foot? How big are your strides? How smooth or robotic do you feel? Do you feel heavy? Do you feel light? Do your arms swing? I noticed for myself, I was not even doing my arm swing. I was holding my hands together. Do your arms swing naturally, or do they somewhere else? And all of these observations for yourself, there's no judgment, there's no right or wrong, there's no good or bad at this point. It's just noticing what's happening in your body so that when we do our exercises and we do feel a change, or we do a recheck at the end, we can feel that there was a change from our baseline. All right. So we need to understand what our baseline is to be able to recognize change and to recognize positive interventions for our bodies. Okay. Is it worth doing, basically? Because some of this work, as you may or may not know, seems kind of ridiculous and a little bit superficial or too simple to actually make a difference. And so we have to make sure that we're understanding if there is a difference and it's worthwhile doing. All right, go ahead and grab your ball. And if you know how to play Letterball, go for it. Go ahead and get started on your Letterball. And if you are new to the ball game, I'm going to explain it right now. So right here, you're just going to pass the ball up and then catch it to yourself. It is best if you catch the ball with both hands so that you get your right and left sides of your body working together on a task, especially if you have a symptom in your Parkinson's that makes your one side different than the other. Okay. So if you have a more affected side, we got to bring that affected side into the play. Is my mic okay, Adam? Give me like a thumbs up. Okay, cool. Good. As you're working through your throw drill, you're going to take your eyes to the ball as you're catching it. Take your eyes to the ball. You want to lock in on that ball with your eyes. That's the convergence, the accommodation, the understanding. Okay, there's something coming towards me and I need to react to that thing with my body. so it doesn't hit me in the face or drop to the floor. Okay. We're warming up both our eyes, our visual system, as well as our hand-eye coordination. So the coordination of our hands to catch that ball. Good. We'll do maybe 2 or 3 more tosses. Great. Nice job. And let's put that ball off to the side. Grab your pen or pencil or your object that you're going to use to do some more pinpointed eye tracking drills. So we use the ball to help us kind of bring our eyes to different areas in a fun way with the ball. This is the fun way. This is the more tedious but more effective way to train eye tracking. So we're going to have our pen or pencil in the middle, right away from the nose. For reference, it's about 12 inches from your nose. And we're going to go ahead and bring the pen over to the left side of your face, pulling your eyeballs all the way to the left side of your sockets. Try not to let your head move to the left. If you need your other hand to keep you honest, go ahead and do that. And then go ahead and pull your pen or pencil to the center of your face. And we're going to just do the left side 6 times. So we're going out to the left, go as far as you can, and then pull it back. Always tracking that pen or pencil. And if you notice that your eyes kind of stutter through a section, go a little slower. Really pause on that far left side to make sure that you've gone as far as you can. Yep. Good. And one more time over to the left. Good. Go ahead and blink 5 or 6 times. So just like we would train the muscles of our body, we're training the muscles of our eyeballs. Here we go. Other side. I'm going to hold my chin so I don't turn my head. We're going to go over to the right, pull the pen or pencil to the right, and then drag it back to the center. Make sure that you're tracking that pen or pencil the whole way through. Don't just try to go to the end range. It's got to follow. It's got to follow and track it all the way out. Gosh, my term for that is escaping me. Got about 5 or 6 times. And remember also just another reminder that this is not comfortable. So if you're feeling eye strain, you're probably in the right space. All right. You're probably on the right track, pushing the range of motion in your eyeballs. I'm going to do one more on this side because this side is special for me. Good. And then blink 5 or 10 times. Yeah. Good. Make sure that you're not moving your head with these. It's all about stretching the eyeballs. All right. So even if you need to rest your elbow on a desk and hold you that way, that works too. All right. We're going to go up and down. We're going to combine this one. So it's going to go, oh no, let's just go straight up. We're going to go straight up first. So I'm going to hold my chin so I don't turn my head, right? It's just the eyeballs coming up. So we're going to go up and you're going to start to see maybe your eyebrows and then pull back down to center. Just 6 or 7 times. Good. Make sure your head is also straight. If you have a tendency to cock your head, make sure your head is straight. If you need to look into a mirror, or you can look into your Zoom camera to make sure that your head is on right. Your head is on right. I don't know if anyone's head is on right, to be honest, anymore, but we're going to try. Good. Last one. Good. Blink a few times. Nice work. And then we're going to go the down one. I have a feeling the down one's going to be quite easy for us because we're always kind of looking down at our phones, at our computers, at our dashboards, all that stuff. So go ahead and do that one still. Again, try not to let your chin drop. Okay. Keep your eyes on the pen. You're going to maybe see your nose or your cheekbones. In a way, this is a little bit of convergence in and down. And you should always be seeing one pen. If you start to see double, bring your pen out a little further. And on that note, if you're really far out, you want to pull in a little bit too, because you want that convergence on the object. Maybe 2 more. And the last one. Nice job. All right, wherever you're at, if you're either seated, you're going to do 5 to 10 sit to stands out of your chair. If you're standing, 5 to 15 squats just where you're standing. We're just going to do some movement. So we're going down and up, just some movement. Get the blood flowing. Let your brain do something other than visual tracking. So if you're in a chair, 5 to 10 sit to stands. If you're standing, maybe 10 to 15 squats. And I'm notorious for not being a good counter. So I'm going to say I have about 6 more. But I'm not going to count out loud because that'll be really confusing for those of you not doing what I'm doing. Yeah. Good. Perfect. I'm going to do 1 or 2 more. Good. Let's get that heart pumping a little bit, blood flowing. Excellent. Bring yourself back to your station, wherever that is. Go ahead and look to the left and find something to the left side of your body that's on the wall or right outside your window, preferably not too far away. And then look to your right and find another object to your right side that is probably equal distance. So if you are closer to one wall than the other, maybe we need to like turn you a little bit. So you want to have equal distance objects on the right and the left side. Okay. So right here, hands on your hips. We're going to look to the object to the left. Focus in on that object. Once you've focused on the object, look to the right and focus in on that object. Don't flick yourself to the other side until that object has become very clear. Okay, both in acuity and accommodation. So you're not seeing 2 objects, you're seeing 1, and then it's a clear object. Good. So looking left and looking right. Go ahead and do that a few times. And I want you to move as quick as possible between the 2 without sort of, again, losing that acuity or clarity. Go ahead. I'm just watching y'all. Good. So obviously this is really good for scanning. Scanning. Okay, I need to cross the street. I need to look right and left. Again, this is all about taking in your environment in an accurate way so that you can move safer and more easily through space. Great. Awesome. Grab your letter ball or your object that you're going to throw and go ahead and start throwing that object. I want you to always throw that object off to your left. So you're always throwing it off to the left. Catch it on the left side. Make sure your eyes go left. Make sure your eyes go left. Good. If you want to get wild with it, you're going to throw it sideways to a wall and then catch maybe the left side, right? So you're always turning to the left. Okay. I like the wall option because it's a little bit more chaotic and less predictable. I want my brain to be startled and surprised. I don't want things to be predictable. Yeah. As long as you're pulling your eye range to the left, to the left. So Adam, turn to your left so that you're sideways to the wall. Aha. Sideways to the wall. Throwing it to the sideways. Yeah. Yeah. Good. 1 or 2 more times. Good. And then we're going to do the same thing on the right side. So you're either throwing it up to yourself and turning your head to the right side, or if you have a wall available, even better, throw it to the wall on the right and then catch it. So I want you turning your attention to the right side of your kinesphere, the right side of the world. And I'm watching y'all just to see how we're doing here. Good. Nice. Turning your heads to the right, engaging with the right side of the world. Nice job. Good. Maybe 2 more tosses. And then bring it on back to your station. Excellent. All right, we're going to do another eye tracking drill. So grab your tracking device, your pen or pencil. Make sure there's something distinguishing at the top of your object that you can track. Like I'm tracking this little, this thing up here. You can use your finger, but I've been enjoying using a pen lately. So we're here. All right. Head is steady. Make sure your head is on the vertical axis. You're not tilted. If you know yourself to be a tilter, my dad is a little bit of a tilter, so I'm always reminding him here. And we're going to go in circles. Okay. So we're going to pull the eyes all the way up to the highmost parts, over to the right, and we're going to circle around as far as we can in that field. And again, you want to make sure that you're going slow enough that you can track the pen so it doesn't get blurry. And we want that pen, because in your eye socket, you have light coming in, and then it gets dark around the rim, right? So we want to be tracing just on the rim of that eye socket. Oop, I lost track. And again, it should be uncomfortable. Your eyeballs should be feeling a little bit of strain. Good. And we're going to do 4 or 5 circles in one direction. Give your eyes a blink break. I'm going to do one more in this direction for myself. Good. And then blink it out if you haven't already. And then you're going to do 4 or 5 in the opposite direction, but I need to give my eyeballs a break because that was straining. All righty, here we go. Up and around. So these types of drills are really great to do just quickly before you go on a walk, or especially if you're going on a hike or something with some friends. Just brightening up brightening and heightening your visual system will help you be able to, see that bird way over there, or be the first one to catch the, I don't know, butterfly out of the corner of your eye or something like that. It heightens your experience, and will also make you feel more comfortable walking on off terrain, because again, that peripheral vision of being able to see below you without actually looking down. You don't miss any of the nature around you, right? Okay, I'm going to do one more here. I'm babbling about hiking. Maybe I just really want to go hiking. And again, there should be eye strain. Right, and when you're done with that, blink 5 or 10 times. Yeah, and then grab onto your ball or your object and go ahead and stand up for me. You can also do this seated. It would look very similar if you were seated, but I think most of you are going to try this standing. Maybe. I'll show you the seated one in a second. All right, so right here, wide base through your feet. And we're going to take the ball up in the right hand, and we're going to reach it to the upper right quadrant. And we're going to take the ball over to the bottom left quadrant. Okay. And we're going to follow the ball with your eyes. So the ball is going to come up, upper right quadrant, and then trace the ball as it comes down to the lower left quadrant. Trace the ball as it comes up, and trace the ball comes down. So you can do this seated in a chair if you'd like. If you want to make this more athletic, you're going to shift into the side. I think this is probably very familiar with some big exercises. And we're going to shift down low into a side lunge. So maybe the ball even comes down to touch the ground. All right. So we're going up off of the toe. Make sure you work through the heel, and then drop down low. Your eyes are always tracking the ball. Good. And again, you can make it athletic by moving a little bit quicker, really working through the push off in your left leg. It's working there. Good. And we're going to do maybe 3 more on this side. And 2 more. Yep, last one. Perfect. Quick lap around the room. Maybe 1 lap. And then bring it back to your station. You probably know what's coming next. I have to make sure I say this right. Upper right quadrant, lower left quadrant. So nice wide athletic base in your legs, and working through the up and reach, down and drop. And you can start to make it more athletic by adding in the push off through the toes and the drop into the side lunge. Push off through the toes and then drop side lunge. Beautiful. Tracking that ball through space. Good. I like to bring it maybe to your nose. Work a little convergence on the way up, huh? I think we did that. Was that last week or the week before? Convergence. That's where objects come really close to your eye, close to your face, and your eyeballs can still track it as one object. Maybe two more. How are we doing? And last one. Excellent. Finish up that last one. Walk around the room, shake it out. Let your nervous system just fizzle a little bit. Again, I'll just remind you that if you're starting to get nauseous, dizzy, nervous system overload is what I call it. That's pretty normal. In fact, I got a little nauseous on that one just from the vestibular work. So that's normal. We just shake it out, then we bring it back. All right, come on back to your station. And we're gonna bring your hands out to the side here, just out to the side. Good. Yeah, I was gonna say, Walter, I was trying to think of like, do I want people to hold the ball? No, I think that was good. All right, so go ahead and bring your hands out in front of you this way. And if you were to look forward, you can look at me, that's fine. If you were to look forward, you can still see your hands. In fact, twinkle them a little bit just to give yourself some engagement. So you should still be able to see both hands, even though you're looking at me or looking straight ahead of you, okay? As you bring the hands back towards your ears, move slowly to the point where you can still see the twinkling of your fingers, but maybe they start to disappear a little bit. And then stop right where kind of on the edge of disappearance and not. So I'm going to be right here. Let's twinkle those fingers. Come on, twinkle, twinkle, twinkle. Yep. Good. Just focusing on the twinkleness of how that's happening left and right. Nice job. We're going to go hold for 3 more seconds, 2 more seconds, and last one. Nice work and release. Whew. Shake it for a second. Good. A little bit of arm work too with that. How was that? Not bad? All right. We're going to find that sweet spot again, and now we're going to do a little bit of movement. So go ahead and find that sweet spot. We don't have to do it quite as much of a system, but yep, find the spot. Good. And we're going to bring the arms up towards the ceiling. Keep them in your peripheral vision. So if they start to disappear, you need to bring them back. Yep. Still looking forward. I know it's tempting to look at those hands. Yeah. And then bring them straight back down. Beautiful. And push it a little bit. How far back can your hands be? Wow, this is a hand workout, huh? Yeah. Keep playing piano. Good. And we're going to do that maybe 2 more times. This phenomenon of being able to see around you despite your eyes looking forward. Yeah. Good. Last one. Good. I like the twinkle fingers, double dip on that, multitask with some hand stuff. I know. Good. And shake it up. Good. All right. So look to your left again. Last time we had an object to your left and an object to your right that was like pretty much directly to your side. Now, if you were looking forward, can you see both of those objects or no? If you're looking for, you can still see both of those objects. Excellent. If you cannot still see both of those objects, look to your left and look to your right and find an object that's maybe a little bit more forward. So it would still be in your peripheral vision. Okay, so you're going to look forward and we're just going to have our objects in place. I know that they're not moving, but see if you can see them. I'm going to scoot back a little bit so mine comes into view. There we go. Good. All right, so right here, go ahead and flick your eyes to the left to look at that object, but don't turn your head or your body. look straight center, and then flick to the other side, the right side, find your object, and then look center. Left, center, right, center. But instead of moving our head or bodies, we're just moving the eyeballs, yeah? And hopefully they're a little bit of a distance away, further than maybe where your hands were next to you, right? It's maybe like out of the frame of the Zoom. Good. 3 more. 2 more. Maybe last one. I'm going to even up actually because I counted wrong, of course, and center. Good. Blink your eyes 5 to 6 times. You can even rub your face if you want. Rub your eyebrows. Give yourself a little cleanse. We did this the other week, I think, face massage. Good. All right. So now we're going to pick something above us and below us, but something that you can relatively see in your peripheral vision. Okay. Stay looking forward. Recognize the object above you and below you. If you need to orient yourself in the room so that there is something above you, like a ceiling fan maybe, or a skylight or a can light. And we're going to go ahead and flick up and down, similar to what we did before. So we're going to go up, forward, down, forward, up, forward, down, forward. Remember, this is just eye movement, no head movement. One more time through the whole thing. Good. And then blink, wash your face, do what you need to do. This is why, one of the reasons why makeup should not be allowed, because I don't want to rub my face and then ruin my makeup. But here we are. Okay, we're going to go in circles now. Left object, upper object, right object, down object. Not rocket science, it's neuroscience, but it's not rocket science. So we're going to go up and around in a circle. We'll do 4 in that direction and then 4 in the other direction. Okay, here we go. We're going to go eyes to the left, eyes up, eyes right, eyes down, hitting that object every time. Left, right, up, right. I'm going to stop narrating in case people are on different wavelengths. About 4 times, blink a few times, and then we're going to go through the other direction. So right object, ceiling, left object, down. You know the drill. Good. Once you've done about 3 or 4 cycles, you can blink your eyes a few times, shake it out. Great. Grab your letter ball or your object again and just pass the ball to yourself. If you know that one side is less skilled at catching the ball, because we did the right side and the left side earlier, focus a little bit more on the side that needs more support. Okay. So if your eyes don't like going left, take your eyes to the left with the ball. Opportunity to hone in on some of those gaps for yourself, recognizing which side's harder for you, and then training that side a little bit more. Yep. 4 more. 3 more. 2. Last one. Great. Nice job. All right. You're going to do this either seated or standing. It's the same, very similar drill to what we did on the diagonals, except instead of tracking the ball, we're just going to watch it in our peripheral vision. So wide athletic stance, ball is up in the upper right quadrant. Make sure that that ball is in your peripheral vision. So if you're looking forward, you can be looking at me or you can be looking at something else. If you're looking wherever forward, you should be able to see that object in the corner of your eye. That's why I like the bright color orange too, because it's easy to spot in that peripheral. And we're going to bring the ball down to the bottom left quadrant and make sure that you can still see that ball in its periphery, in your periphery. So we're going to go up and down, up and down. Again, still tracking that ball, sort of indirectly tracking the ball through peripheral vision. Good. And if you want to make it more athletic, we're going to do that tap, but keep the ball in your peripheral. So that means maybe you need to tap more forward, because if your eyes are locked on something in front of you, right? Yes. So you always be able to see the ball. And just a refresher, if you want that athletic, it would be up onto the toes. So lift your heel and then drop down in a side lunge or squat your hips back. Good. Maybe 2 more on this side. And last one. Good. Shake it. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. Upper left quadrant, bottom right quadrant. I'm just going to start with option 1, which is no movement in the legs and just working the eyes. And if you're feeling good, we're going to go up on the heel, or up on the toe, I should say, lifting the heel and bringing it down. Tap the ground. Lift and tap. Lift. Good. Remember, you're always looking forward. Pick something to look forward at and just make sure that that ball stays in your peripheral vision. I think this is almost harder, yeah? So your eyes want to look at the ball, right? We want to look at the thing that we're manipulating, but sometimes we also need to be taking in something more important. Yeah, good. 2 more. Last one. Lovely. Take a lap around the room just to shake it. And if you're feeling nauseous, dizzy, nervous system overload, sometimes that can happen. No big deal. We just shake it out. All right, so we're going to do another standing drill. So if you're standing, stay standing. Find a lane in your room, in your space, that you are able to walk sideways in. So this would be called lateral movement. So I'm going to come over to one side of my room, and I know I've scanned my space. There is nothing I can trip on over here. There's nothing I can trip on. Okay. So make sure you look at that space, be like, I'm good to go. No rugs I can trip on, no cats, whatever, no children to trip on, whatever. And then, well, let's bring our hands up in our peripheral vision as well. So again, here's the twinkle fingers. That keeps us entertained and engaged. Looking forward, we're going to sidestep over to the other side of the room, knowing there's nothing to trip on, but always looking forward. All right. So go ahead and sidestep. They can be slow. And you're always looking forward. But you know where the end of the room is because of your peripheral vision. Yes. Once you get to the other side, we'll sidestep over to the start point. The twinkle fingers keeps your attention on the side of your face so that you know when you're going to run into a wall. All right. We're going to go there and back 2 more times. There and back. Good. Excellent. Peripheral vision. Now, just anecdotally for myself, in case you feel this way as well, it is more challenging for me to trust going one way than it is the other, even though I know consciously there's nothing to trip on. My body just sort of inherently does not like going left. Okay. So not saying that you have a discrepancy between your 2 sides, but if you do, just take note of it because that's how you're going to train your pockets. Okay. Your deficits. All right. I think that was 3. Let's go ahead and just walk around the room normal. Just walk around the room normal. Good. And then let it bring us back down to the station. How are we doing? Good? Okay. I feel like after this kind of class, you're going to have spidey sense in your eyes. All right. We're going to do a little bit now. Instead of moving the eyes around, we're going to be moving our head around, but keeping our eyes locked in on an object. Okay. So for this one, you can use your pen. However, I find that the pen starts to move around in space. So preferably, you're going to find something. You can look at the green dot, the camera dot on your camera or whatever. You're going to take your eyes and laser lock it on an object. It can be on the wall. It can be on the computer. It can be me, whatever, or something in my room. And we're going to turn our head left and right. So the eyeballs stay straight. Head turns left and right. All right. Go ahead and begin. And I'm going to watch and I'm going to help you. If you start to flick your eyeballs away from your target, I'm going to let you know that it's happening. And remember with this one, you want to pull your eyeballs to the far side of your face, or you want to pull your head all as far as you can so that your eyeballs really stretch to the side. This is kind of funny. What if you looked at your own eyeballs as you're doing this? That is trippy. And as a little reminder, you can put your finger on your chin just to help direct the movement too, in case you think you're moving further than you actually are. Use your fingers to help direct that. And we're going to do about 10 to 15 passes. If you start to get that nervous system overload, just stop, close your eyes, take a couple of breaths through your nose. I'm going to do 3 more. Good. All right. Stand on up again if you have sat down. And if you're not doing standing or moving, big dynamic moving exercises, you can do this. Just hold your hands next to your side. We're going to do the side steps again over to the right and back, or whichever direction you're going. So again, have your lane. Now, if you want to get it, it may be the same thing that you did last time, just the normal side step. If you want to get a little bit more coordinated with it or challenged in the coordination, you're going to go over and behind. Over and behind. Please be careful that you don't trip yourself. Go nice and slow. Feel it out first. But we're going to go back and forth 3 to 5 times using that peripheral vision. So you're going to feel like you're doing a little line dance. Eyes are forward, but your peripheral vision is telling you if you're safe or when to stop to the other side. Yeah. Good. I'm going to watch. And so you're going to go 3 to 5 passes. And I'm going to trust that Carrie is going to tell me when she's done. And that's been enough time because I'm watching you and not doing it myself. So I need someone else to keep track. So if you're just doing this in the chair, you can just work on lifting the arms up and down, practicing your peripheral vision in that way. Do you feel like you're in a hoedown? Line dancing? Yeah. All right, Carrie finished up. That was about time. Finish up that last lap that you're on. Excellent job. Good. All right, bring it on back to your station when you're ready. And we're going to do, again, another set of eyes stay stationary, head movement. Okay. This is called vestibular ocular reflex. You don't have to remember that whole thing, but you can abbreviate it with VOR, V as in VOR, vestibular ocular reflex. And that reflex just says when your head turns, your eyes move in the opposite direction that your head turns to stay focused on whatever you're focusing on. So we're going to do VOR on the diagonal. We'll do about 6 or 7 passes on one diagonal and 6 or 7 passes on the other diagonal. Before you get started, This one can be challenging if you have tightness in your neck, okay? So take a moment and just give yourself a little neck stretch, just opening up the whole side here. Maybe even petting a little bit of the tissues. We've done a bunch of neck work in the past. So maybe pulling some of that out. I'm not going to go through the whole thing right here. And then neck stretch to the other side. So up on the diagonal, right? Maybe giving yourself a little pet, working the collarbone. Good. And then bring your hand on top of your head. And we're going to look a little bit to the left, but then looking down. So I say this one is like smell your armpit, which I don't know. Sometimes those cues just work, right? They work for us. So you're looking a little bit down and to the left and stretching out that side of your, it's almost like the right back quadrant of your neck. And you can use your other hand to kind of pet through that. And then go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. So we're going to go rotate a little bit and then drop the chin. And you're going to expose that left back quadrant of your neck. Yeah. And again, this is all about observation too of what's going on in your body. If you notice that one of those areas needs a little bit more support, you're going to revisit that stretch more often than the others. Okay. All right. So again, we're going to go up on the diagonal and down on the diagonal. So we're going to go upper right quadrant with your chin, exposing here, and then lower left quadrant with your chin. Okay. Chin and nose, but your eyeballs stay forward. That's the tricky part. Go ahead and work through that. We're going to go 6 or 7 passes nice and slow. The idea is still the same. You're going up as high as you can, get your eyeballs to drop into the quadrant, and then get your eyeballs to lift into the quadrant. Good. And you can use your hand to direct so that you're keeping yourself honest with the movement. It's not turning into this and it's not turning into this. It's truly on this diagonal. I'm going to watch y'all and give you some feedback. Carrie, make sure you're focused on the eye spot. So the eyes stay centered, the head moves. Eyes stay center, head moves. Is this hard? I see some of you laughing at yourself. That's a good thing. That's why we're here, training that reflex. Good. Eyes stay on the object. To pick an interesting enough object, huh? Good. 6 or so passes and then blink a few times and then we'll do the other side. Don't wait for me to move on to the next side. You can move on to yourself. Yeah. And if this is challenging or, this is giving you that overload, this is good. Write this one on your short list that you're going to do more frequently. Go ahead and work through that. Find your object. It's got to be something interesting that you remember that you're going to look at that object the whole time. Good. Walter, make sure you're turning your head too, not just your arms. Nice, Vaughn, looking strong there. Good. After you've done about 6 or 7 passes, we're going to grab the Letterball and just start passing the ball to yourself. Okay. That'll show me that you finished your set. Take your time though. No rush on this work. Okay, once you've finished your passes for the vestibular ocular reflex drill, the VOR drill, just do your Letterball passes to yourself to show me that you've finished. Yep. And track the ball with those eyes. That's the point. What do they say? Keep your eye on the ball. There we go. That's it, Stephen. Nice. Good. And you can bounce the ball off the wall, surprise yourself a few times, get that startle reflex. That's what opens the channels for neuroplasticity and change. You have to startle yourself. There has to be some spontaneity in that. Okay, maybe 2 more tosses. Good. And then perfect. Go ahead and bring yourself up to a stand. So remember that lane that we had earlier. Yeah, we're going to use that lane again, but this time we're going to be walking forward. So I said at the beginning of class, all of this work on peripheral vision and expanding our visual field is to support the idea that we can look forward while we're walking and not feel like we need to look down at our feet. All right. We want to take in the world around us, be safe about, you know, what's going on in the world around us, but also be comforted that we can also see the ground underneath our feet as well at the same time. So go ahead and walk forward. And as you're walking forward, especially if you have a short room, you may have to turn around quite frequently. Just be aware of your turning strategy. For some of you, I know that's more of a challenge. As you're walking forward and back, see if you can see maybe the tips of your toes, even though you're looking forward. And if you can't quite see the tips of your toes, don't look at your feet, but maybe bring your gaze down a little bit. So maybe it's like at your baseboard. So you're still looking forward, but you're not looking down at your feet. So you can get your feet in the field of vision without actually looking at your feet. Am I making sense? I hope I'm making sense. We're going to do that maybe 2 more times, just with that practice of being able to see your feet without looking at your feet. Yeah, good. And then release. All right. I'm going to have everyone take a seat, either in a chair or on the floor. You can also lay on your side or on your back. Find something find a place and a position that is comfortable for you, where you can let your body just relax, just ooze into whatever form that you're sitting in. And I've mentioned this in the previous classes, but for those of you that are new, quiet reflection after a session of intense learning and intense neurological intervention, like we just did, we need to take 2 to 10 minutes of quiet solitude, eyes closed, to allow our brains to take all that information and transfer it into a more permanent place in our brain so it stays with us for longer. Okay, so I'm going to give you, we're going to do it for 2 minutes today. 2 minutes to close your eyes and just focus on relaxing and breathing. And maybe you can play back the session in your brain for these 2 minutes. I'm going to turn off my audio so you don't hear me. And if you want to turn off your video, you're more than welcome to do that. Okay, 2 minutes starts now. Great. Deep inhale through your nose. Exhale. Inhale through your nose and exhale. Excellent job. Let's have you all stand up and take one more lap around the room. And at the beginning of class, we took some notes on what our gait felt like. Was it choppy, rigid, smooth? What was the strides like, their distance, your foot articulation? Where do you find yourself looking when you're walking? Do you swing your arms? I just ran through all of those very quickly, but just take some notes on how your gait feels right here. And if there was a positive change or maybe no change or maybe a negative change. Positive changes would be things like natural arm swing, smoothness, quietness, quickness, things of that sort. Great. And then come on back and give me a thumbs up if you felt a positive change, thumbs down if negative change, sideways thumbs if no change. You're just like, no. Awesome. Great. All right. For most of you, worth doing. Excellent. So before I turn off the recording, for those of you that don't know, I am pretty much obsessed with this podcast called the Huberman Lab podcast. Andrew Huberman is a professor of neuroscience at Stanford, and he releases 90 to 2-minute lectures every Monday on different neuroscience concepts. And it's essentially like being in a college neuroscience 101 course, which for me, I nerd out on this stuff all the time. Anyways, he just released a bunch of episodes on integrating your senses. So hearing, vision, taste, smell, and I thought they were very excellent. So Huberman Lab podcast, if you want to check that out, all of his episodes are fantastic. All right, so I'm going to turn off the recording. If you want to unmute yourself and share any experiences that you have with the group, the floor is yours. You can just unmute.